Guys, I'm Jerry Miller, and thank you kindly for joining us on the I Love CVille Show. We appreciate you watching and listening to the water cooler of content and conversation in Charlottesville, Central Virginia, the Commonwealth, and the country. We are spreading our wings content-wise on this network and offering a lens of coverage that is broader than Central Virginia, but we do it in a way that brings back the attention to our community. A couple things I want to get off my chest first. We'll talk about the Noah Coffin interview from yesterday. Explosive interview, undoubtedly has gone viral, undoubtedly has had commentary from viewers and listeners on both sides of the political aisle. This interview with Noah Coffin, one of our most watched interviews that we've done on the network, and the engagement, you've seen it on social media, it legitimately was the top piece of content in 2026 in the entire region, and that's just facts. You're not going to find a piece of content locally that had the level of engagement that the Noah Coffin interview, the TPUSA, Western Admiral High School founder and chapter president, that followed him in the show yesterday. I mean, it was just explosive. And for obvious reasons, Erica Kirk and TPUSA are divisive. Trump is divisive. Politics can be combative and nasty. And Albemarle County Public Schools are frankly searching for an identity. We all must realize that the Albemarle County Public School system is desperately searching for an identity, as if they were a young child that slipped into the deep end of a swimming pool and they are currently fighting and gasping for air and on the cusp of drowning. Enrollment numbers are concerning. Politics are a battlefield. There are landmines everywhere, and it's time to start utilizing terminology like totalitarianism in Albemarle County Public Schools. I'll offer a definition of totalitarianism on the program today and ask you, the viewer and listener, if this sounds familiar. The process or the act of totalitarianism is the absolute unrestrained control over all aspects of public and private life, aiming to dominate citizens' beliefs and actions, characterized by single-party rule, a dictator, propaganda, and total suppression of opposition. We're going to have an uncomfortable conversation on the show today. Do our elected officials want to make the suppression of the opposition a reality in our public school system? I watched yesterday's Albemarle County School Board meeting on live stream, and constantly the school board members were hiding under the disguise of other school systems are doing this, other public school systems are doing this. This is the policy in place at this school system. This is the policy in place at Fairfax County Public Schools. And you know what? I call absolute bullshit here. When you're an elected official and you need to reference other policies that are in place for public school systems across the Commonwealth, as opposed to being a leader here in Albemarle County, one of the most expensive counties, the amount that taxpayers are spending per pupil to educate students with an ACPS is atop the charts in the Commonwealth of Virginia, well over $20,000 a year to educate an individual student within Albemarle County Public Schools. And yesterday, shame on the school board members who constantly were hiding behind other systems are doing this, so we should follow suit. That's BS. And shame on Albemarle County Public School administrators who frankly said what we're doing now has nothing to do with the fact that Erica Kirk is coming to Western Admiral High School to speak. And I don't care what your politics are, if you're a liberal, if you're a conservative, a Democrat, or a Republican. The expression of free speech, the pursuit of the First Amendment, should be an equitable playing field, regardless of the ideology or the topic matter. I'll say it again, I'll say it loud, I'll say it proud. If it makes you uncomfortable, it's okay. The expression of freedom of speech and the pursuit of the First Amendment should be on an equitable playing field, regardless of your ideology or the topic matter. If Barack Obama, if Joe Biden, if the late Jesse Jackson or Malcolm X want to speak at Western Albemarle High School, awesome. Why wouldn't we have them speak and roll out the red carpet? And if you don't like the topic matter or the content, don't show up to listen or to watch. If Erica Kirk or Victoria Cobb or the late Charlie Kirk want to speak at Western Albemarle High School, awesome. Why wouldn't we have them speak? And if you don't like the topic matter, don't show up to watch and listen. We'll unpack that topic today on the I Love CVille Show. We'll talk on the program what did you call it? It was beautifully well said, Judah. The unadulterated vitriol from adults, otherwise civilized humans, as it applied to a 17-year-old minor on yesterday's show.
Some of whom
Are you two-shotted?
No, not yet.
Some of whom I have respect for. I still have respect for.
Well, you said it better than I would have. I was going to say some of whom, let me get myself on screen real quick. I was going to say some of whom I've formerly had great respect for and have seen making comments that I can't reconcile with the people that I thought I knew. I mean, these are people ascribing horrific character traits to not just Noah Coffin, a 17-year-old high school student,
a child,
but to an entire swath of America. I mean, people just making blanket statements about. Calling out people saying supporters of child pornography, people talking about just the things that disgust, I think, all of us, and making it as though somehow Turning Point USA is the center point for all of this in America.
Our firm is 18 years old in May. In May of this year, the Miller Organization and what you know as I Love CVille is 18 years old. We make our living in large part because we understand social media and digital marketing humbly, very humbly, better than just about anyone in a 300,000 person region and just about anyone in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And I mean that humbly and factually. Did you know there is not a social media, digital marketing, podcasting version of a talk show that's 5 days a week on the same time of every day in the entire Commonwealth of Virginia, except for the I Love CVille Show? We're the only one that does this. Across all platforms, our following is more robust and deeper than any brand and platform except for the University of Virginia in the region. And as someone who makes his living on social and on digital and on mobile, I say this with sadness. Keyboard muscles and anonymity online have dehumanized American culture. And yesterday, I watched as adults, men and women that have children that are Noah's age, if not older and certainly younger, rip a young man who's a senior at Western Albemarle High School as if they knew him and as if he was a convicted criminal, a felon.
Yeah.
And it was sickening, regardless of politics. And I want the viewers and listeners that are watching this program, I don't care if you're a Democrat, a liberal, a Republican, a conservative, a libertarian. I don't care if you're Southern Baptist, Jewish, Protestant, Catholic, atheist, agnostic. I do care that we are all afforded the same rights and freedoms. And our society is based on one that prioritizes freedom of speech and expression. And we understand that consequences come with freedom of speech and expression. You want to say something, and that thing you're saying is nasty or racist, there will be ramifications. But attacking a minor without ever meeting him based on an association boggles my mind.
Yeah.
And the Albemarle County School Board yesterday on a dais, on a live stream, on the record, on something that will live on the internet forever. And the internet, ladies and gentlemen, is our digital tombstone. Our children, our grandchildren's children, and the family tree that is yet to be born will get to know the Judah Wickhowers and the Jerry Millers of the world, the viewers and listeners that are watching this program, by searching your name online. And some of it is good, some of it's bad, some of it's ugly, but it's the digital tombstone. And what the Albemarle County School Board is doing, led by Allison Spillman, and it's paramount we understand that Allison Spillman, the at-large representative on the Albemarle County School Board, is leading this charge. She really stepped in the you-know-what at the end of last year when she compared the TPUSA chapter at Western Albemarle High School to the Ku Klux Klan. She stepped in it, a huge pile of it, a stinky, warm, nasty pile of it. She stepped in it, and she continues to do it. And for the school board yesterday, on the record, on the dais, on the live stream, in person, with the cooperation of Albemarle County administrators, they are all in cahoots to say this new policy we're pushing has nothing to do with Erica Kirk, is disingenuous, it's hypocritical. Victoria Cobb and TPUSA Western Albemarle started the trend. The school board didn't like Victoria Cobb and what she stood for. Erica Kirk, she was the hammer that pushed the trend forward, the driving force of the trend. And at the next school board meeting, this coming Thursday, school board members will vote on policy and will probably approve this in either unanimous capacity. I hope to God Jim Dillenbeck, who's watching this program, who's come on the show. Jim Dillenbeck, if you're watching this program, you have come on the show. If you do not offer a dissenting vote on this, I will be disappointed in you, sir.
My world view would be flipped upside down if he didn't dissent on the vote. But
Jim Dillenbeck,
but at the same time, he is one vote.
He should paper the trail, pepper the record with a dissenting vote. Mm-hmm. On Thursday of this coming week, in 6 days, the Albemarle County School Board is going to castrate First Amendment expression and eradicate freedom of speech from student club organizations within Albemarle County Public Schools.
And also attempt to abscond with their money if they see fit.
Albemarle County Public Schools will be able to dissolve clubs as they see fit, will be able to dissolve clubs and take their money as they see fit.
They don't even have to take the money after dissolving them. I believe what they're voting on is all of the money going into a general fund.
100% held in a coffer beforehand. If you raise money from private citizens, if you raise money from business owners, you are out with a fold-up card table and you're selling t-shirts or cookies or baked goods, or you are using social media to tell the world that there's going to be a car wash on the corner of 4th and Market Streets in downtown Charlottesville, because the I Love CVille studio has a courtyard that they own, a building that they own, and they're willing to give you 2 hours of lease-free, rent-free time in their courtyard. And folks can pull up their automobiles and their vehicles, and 16 and 17 and 18-year-olds and 15-year-olds are going to wash your cars and ask you for a donation. Cash, Venmo, PayPal. That money from the sweat equity of washing cars and trucks and SUVs must be controlled and allocated to an Albemarle County managed bank account, and then allocated to student clubs as administrators see fit. This is the definition, and if you push back on me, and I want to highlight on the program, ladies and gentlemen, the fine folks at Charlottesville Sanitary Supply and Charlottesville Swimming Pool Company. Online at charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com, an e-commerce store where you can buy anything cleaning or sanitary related, and it will be delivered to your doorstep, ladies and gentlemen, the same day at no charge, at price points that beat the big box brands. charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com. You should be supporting the businesses that have been in operation locally for 62 years, that are owned and operated by a family that lives in Albemarle County for 5 generations, a company run by 3 generations of Vermilion family members. And their swimming pool company is the consultation or the concierge of anything swimming pool related in Central Virginia. charlottesvilleswimmingpoolcompany.com. Totalitarianism. I'm going to read the definition for the viewer and listener. A system of government that exerts absolute unrestrained control over all aspects of public and private life, aiming to dominate citizens' beliefs and actions. It is characterized by single-party rule, a dictator, a terroristic police, propaganda, and or total suppression of the opposition. Examples of totalitarianism from our past: North Korea under the Kim dynasty, the Soviet Union under Joseph Stalin, Nazi Germany under Adolf Hitler, and fascist Italy under Mussolini. What the Albemarle County School Board is trying to do, and the public school system in Albemarle, Virginia, is the second cousin of totalitarianism. It's the little brother of totalitarianism, where elected officials, school board members, and their cronies will dictate the pace and tempo of any First Amendment or form of expression. Control the money, control who can speak, when they can speak, when the club can meet, what it can do with its calendar, what it can do with its location of choice, what it can do with its membership, its curriculum, its agenda. Everything must be approved. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say something that's going to irritate the hell out of a lot of people. But the reason this platform works, this long-form content, this water cooler of content and conversation, is because you know when I speak, I'm cutting through the BS and could care less what the response is. If you are a family of means, or if you have the opportunity in any capacity, it would seem to me that you are thinking not once, not twice, not 3 times, but a dozen times of why your student is enrolled in this public school system. I would reference SOL scores. I would reference indoctrination, totalitarianism. I would reference the rise of homeschooling that is up 50% since COVID, the spike in private school enrollment. They are exploding with engagement and enrollment, the private schools locally. I would reference the falling contribution from the Commonwealth of Virginia funding public schools because enrollment is down. I would reference Weldon Cooper data that suggests enrollment's going to fall even more. I would reference antiquated classroom equipment, antiquated textbooks, antiquated HVAC systems. I would reference an inexplicable battle with school resource officers, this absurd notion that former Mayor Nakia Walker is pumping a pipeline to prison. School resource officers, give me an effing break there. I would reference the fact that principals and vice principals and school board members and delegates, Virginia delegates, have pulled their kids. Former school board chairwomen, Katrina Carlson, pulled their kids from public schools and put them in private schools. You know, there's this notion of being an insider, right? A lot of investors, astute investors, Judah, utilize what's called edge or alpha. And what alpha or edge is, seeking alpha with investing in the stock market. When you're seeking alpha, you are seeking an edge on why your allocation of capital, your dry powder, should be utilized with this certain stock or equity. It's called seeking alpha. One of the ways you can seek alpha is by watching what folks that work for these publicly traded companies are doing with their own money. Mm-hmm. If C-suite or upper management with these publicly traded companies are unloading.
Yeah, if they're selling stock in their own company, you should be worried about that company. If they're buying stock in that company every year, then I would guess that that company is probably a safe bet for the foreseeable future.
That's a way to seek alpha. If an employee of a company is buying stock, additional stock in that company, and they have to tell the world, because that's the rules that they're doing it, that's one way to seek alpha. One way to seek alpha locally, edge, in Albemarle County Public Schools, is what is the former chairwoman of the Albemarle County School Board doing with her students? With her kids? What are vice principals and principals at Albemarle County Public Schools doing with their kids? What are current school board members doing with their kids?
Yeah.
That's seeking alpha. Comments are coming in aggressively and quickly. This comment comes in from someone who's extremely connected. This proposed policy, which will, do you see it? I see Jim Dillenbeck is the only one that's voting no on Thursday. Besides Dillenbeck, everyone else is going to vote yes on the school board.
I can't imagine the vote going a different way.
This comment says this proposed policy is going to substantially hurt all student clubs, not just TPUSA. Mm-hmm. I want to live in a society and a community where we have choice on who is speaking. And I want to live in a society and a community where the next generation of leaders are empowered and have autonomy.
And are taught to think for themselves, so they're not just leaders because they're the most outspoken in a particular subject or field, but because we respect what they say, because we've heard them and we've seen them struggle with the implications of. I mean, this is what we should all be doing, is discussing things and saying, okay, I feel you're wrong here, but you make a really good point there, and maybe I need to rethink my view on this subject. But largely what I see is people just making blanket statements, making blanket judgments on groups of people, on anything without any critical thought, and I don't see any proof. You know, I go looking. I see all these people talking about, this is bad or this is good or whatever, and I go looking for proof. And when all I find are like single sentence blurbs taken out of context, it makes me leery of anything. It makes me leery of whoever is pushing these one sentence here's the data. Like, what am I supposed to do with that?
Comments are coming in quickly. Let's go to YouTube. Quinn Hardiman 4810 on YouTube. Jerry, I have a question for you. Does this mean if I give $1 to a certain club, it could then be allocated to another club? Yes, absolutely. That's what it means.
That's certainly the way it looks.
That's absolutely what it means.
Okay.
The club that is doing the fundraising will lose autonomy over the dollars they raise. And if you, as a business, a nonprofit, an organization, a family, a citizen, allocate contributions to student clubs, and we do it all the time, that money may not go directly to that club. William McChesney watching the program. He said, I simply asked a question yesterday during the interview about the diversity of the group of 700 people that attended the TPUSA meeting, the last one, and someone jumped on me and said it was a racist question. What in the world is happening to our community? William McChesney says.
I agree.
The people that said the 700 that were in attendance at the last TPUSA meeting were overwhelmingly white, and that's a problem. Dude, 85% of the Western Albemarle student body is white.
Western Albemarle High School is overwhelmingly white.
85% of the student body, just Google it online, are white. And for someone to say a blanket statement that 700 kids who showed up to the TPUSA meeting, the last one, are all one skin color and that's a problem, you are just not in touch with reality or basic metrics or can't use Google.
Mm-hmm. Even more than that, though, I think going to Bill McChesney's question, I think I've seen exactly what he's talking about over and over and over and over again with responses in feeds being vitriol, unasked for vitriol. How can you respond that way? How can you call someone a racist for asking a question? That's, I think, part of the problem is that we're too easy with our slurs. And yes, calling someone a racist is a slur. You're making a value judgment on what? Someone asking a question?
It's the collateral damage of social media and mobile interaction, the dehumanizing of society. We now say and do things online that we otherwise would never do in person.
We can blame a lot of it on that, but I think there are a lot of people that are just too easy with pointing the finger at other people.
And you know, just we do a lot of forecasting on the program. That's one of the things you, the viewer and listener, like is the forecasting. How's this for a forecast for you? You open up the Daily Progress online, dailyprogress.com. There's a headline. Virginia homeschooling nears 66,000 students. It's up nearly 50% since the pandemic, homeschooling. Every private school in Charlottesville and Albemarle and Central Virginia is CapEx spending or fundraising to build more infrastructure to accommodate larger student bodies. Private school enrollment is upticking. Weldon Cooper straight up is talking about the public school systems locally in the region where enrollment is falling. It's straight up falling. Look at the Weldon Cooper data. These are people that do demographicing, whatever the word is, for a living. Look it up. You can find it online. It's an easy Google search. 24 to 36 months, you're going to have an influx of the top 10% of wealth, new wealth, incremental citizens moving to this community tied to biotechnology and a biotechnology beltway that Glenn Youngkin put in place that's going to connect Rockingham County, Albemarle County, and Goochland County, driving thousands. I've been told 6,000 to 8,000 of incremental residents that are the top 10% of wealth locally that are going to pursue private schools and cannibalize housing inventory. It's going to get wealthier around here. If we do not see the writing on the wall that public school enrollment over the next 24 to 36 months is going to fall and funding for these public schools is going to drop, you are just not common sense oriented individuals. And then you start peppering all these political landmines atop the basics, the facts, the trends. Political landmine. I'm just going to be extremely straightforward on the show right now. Are you ready? I'm going to.
Sure.
I have yet, I've been in this community 26 years in August. I arrived as a first year at the University of Virginia in August of 2000. Old dorms, Dabney 101. Raised in Williamsburg, Virginia. I've 26 years in this community in August. It's my home. I've gone from 19-year-old troublemaker, closing down the bars, womenizing, bar hopping, to engaged, married, father of two. More responsibilities on my plate than ever before. Pressure, stress. Would not have it any other way. Our children, our hearts walking outside our bodies, bring me joy and anger, all within the same 5-minute period of time. All parents can relate to that. In those 26 years that I've been in this community, there's been 2 individuals that have divided the community to the tune of division or divisiveness that I've never seen in my entire life. The first one was Nakia Walker, the former mayor of Charlottesville. The second one, in just a short period of time, is Allison Spillman. She is nearly single-handedly changing the brand, the narrative, the pace and tempo and direction of what was otherwise a well-funded, stable, high-performing, consistent, balanced school system. ACPS, as we know it today, is one of political landmines, indoctrination, and frankly, the second cousin of totalitarianism. And if you want the best advertisement possible for private schools, it's not 30-second advertisements on the I Love CVille show, like the success Jerry Ratcliffe is having at jerryratcliffe.com with his transition to a paywall. The best content possible is on jerryratcliffe.com for anything UVA related. I read his paywalled website every day. It's $8 a month for me, and it's some of the best $8 I spend every 30 days. Football and basketball coverage, exclusive coverage you can't get anywhere else at jerryratcliffe.com. If you're an orange and blue fan, that's who you read. The best advertisement for any brand or business locally is not a 30-second spot in this program if you're a private school. It's doing nothing and allowing Allison Spillman to do the work for you. And we will reflect, not tomorrow, not next month, not at the end of the year, maybe at the end of her term, certainly within 4 or 5 years. We will reflect and we will pinpoint, just like we did when Walker was out of office as mayor of Charlottesville, as that was the point where things got real bad. And then we'll utilize data like dropping enrollment. And then we'll point to that data as the gentrification of education and a widening gap of learning that drives generational impacts and influences. Generational. And for anyone who's watching this program, I supported the ICE student protest. I encouraged students to protest against immigration and customs enforcement. I did not support ICE truancy student protests. I am a firm believer. Geez, have you listened to this show of freedom of speech and First Amendment? Do you hear the commentary I offer Monday through Friday in the region's top media platform? It embodies expression and freedom of speech in the First Amendment. The entire show is based on it. That's why it works. What I am not a supporter as a father of an 8-year-old, as a father of a 3-year-old, is missing school and class time.
Not just missing it, but administration allowing kids to leave the school.
Now we're hearing it's happening at Lakeside Middle School, where the principal's sending out a protocol of how to do the protesting. This is not happening at private schools. They're not missing classroom time to protest. Comments, put them in the feed. Judah Wickhauer, you go first, and we'll get to the comments.
Me go first, man. I don't know what's going to come of this. I appreciate the honest discussion in our comment feeds, weeding out the people that just mindlessly call names and put people down because of a difference of opinion. That leads nowhere. I appreciate. I've had one of our viewers reach out to me and ask me to have tacos.
Juan Sarmiento.
And beer. Well, I wasn't going to name names.
That's who it was. Well, he put it in the comment section. Everyone saw it.
Okay. Well, and I appreciate that because I appreciate a good discussion. And it doesn't mean that I have to change my mind. It doesn't mean the other person has to change their mind. But there is the potential there that one or the other of us will say something that's meaningful or true or just impactful, and minds can change. But sitting around calling people names and acting like somehow someone with a different opinion than you is evil is going to destroy us.
Bob Yarborough watching the program. Lauren and Ivy watching the program. Brent Lillard watching the program. James Watson, Jason Noble watching the program. Jesse Rutherford watching the program. Supervisors and school board members and counselors and delegates watching the program. Andre Xavier, Don Gathers, Betsy Nugent watching the program. Newspaper, print, radio, and television watching the program. Fontini Burns, 8310 on YouTube, says this is what will happen. People will just stop donating. That's what happened when they decided to pool together all PTA funds into one bucket for all schools. People just stopped donating. Fontini Burns, 8310 says, I personally just switched to donating directly to my child's teacher's class wish list rather than the entire school.
I wouldn't be surprised if school groups started taking donations offline.
Now, what TPUSA should do, what the Western Albemarle Democrats should do, what the Western Albemarle Student Democrat Club, the Western Albemarle Student Republican Club should do, what the Western Albemarle LBGTQ Club should do, what the Western Albemarle, is there a straight club? There's a Western Albemarle LGBTQ Club. Is there a Western Albemarle straight club? You know, what the Western Albemarle Key Club should do, Forensics Club should do, Speech and Debate Club should do, the Western Albemarle Rock, Paper, Scissors Club should do, the Western Albemarle Flying Chest Bump Club should do, the Western Albemarle Yarn Making Club should do.
Did you start all these clubs?
The club that I started was not a club that I could say online. Terrorized my parents. You should just take your club off school grounds.
Yeah.
You should do private donating. Mm-hmm. You should not have a public speaker on school grounds. You should do all your meetings, all your gatherings, all your club activity off school grounds. Use Signal or Discord or some kind of private communication method. Completely eradicate and remove Albemarle County Public Schools from the process altogether. If Albemarle County and its school board and Dr. Matthew Haas and the superintendent's office and his lieutenants and the lawyers are trying to castrate you of power and influence and freedoms and First Amendment expression, your counterattack is this. You want to do this to us? We're going to take you completely out of the equation.
Move underground.
We're going to go to higher ground, and we'll win this battlefield, this war, from atop of this grassy knoll, while you're down there.
There's a picture.
In the mud. That's what you should do. Take them out of the equation. You don't be crazy as if these student clubs took the school board out of the equation, and then the school board is just on the dais like, is there a way for us to police the donations and the agenda and the content with what these clubs are doing at Far Downers or at Crozet Park or in the parking lot of Pro Renata or at Crozet Pizza? Or what are we supposed to do? That's what you should do. Just organize and strategize and outthink them. That's what I would have done. That's literally what I would have done if I was these kids in high school. Bet my life I would have done that. And the folks would have followed with me doing it. Guarantee. T.D. Lehman says form a 501c3. Carol Thorpe says they should get John Whitehead, the attorney, involved with this.
Oh, they've got an attorney. I have no doubt.
Haig Martin says this. I would love to see TPUSA National go toe-to-toe with the Albemarle County Public School System in some kind of legal fight.
I wouldn't, because that's our money that they're fighting with.
It's just going to continue. My family's paying for school twice. Our oldest is going to $25K a year, second grade.
So why would you want to pay more?
Because one day we would consider if the baseline change public schools. And it's not going to change as is.
Yeah.
I can assure you we wouldn't be funding the fight ourselves.
But I don't
It's
think
like it's like an HOA. This building, I own a third and change of a building on the downtown mall, the building we're in now. By the bylaws of the HOA, I, because of my ownership stake, control the HOA. Vote-wise, putting people on the board-wise, and that keeps lenders, that makes lenders weary of lending money into this building if people want to buy into the building, because one person has autonomy and control over the association. I'm of the mindset, let's vote for the money that's in the coffers for CapEx improvement. Let's make the elevator better. Let's paint the outside of the building. Let's redo the courtyards. Let's redo the roof. Let's do the lobby. Let's remodel the hallways. Let's change the lighting. Let's redo the bathrooms. Let's remodel everything. Let's make it great. People say to me, why are you pushing all this? Because we all benefit from it. I also know that it's only a third of my money and 67% of everybody else's. So I'm getting all this new awesome stuff done at 33 cents on the dollar. And those additional amenities driving up rents and making the model more profitable at no additional money to me. Same thing with the school system. TPUSA, go after ACPS. Taxpayers will front the bill, but they're going to front the bill in small peanuts as opposed to covering it all themselves. And if the baseline changes and the amenities improved, in this case it would be the indoctrination of students or the eradication of the political landmines, then maybe the private school parents that are paying $25K for second grade would consider Meriwether Lewis. Oh, sorry, it's not Meriwether Lewis anymore. It's Ivy Elementary now. And pretty soon it's going to be PS9 or PS3 and PS11 instead of Virginia Marie. Mm-hmm. Instead of Meriwether Lewis. What are the other rebrandings they've done?
I just drove by one the other day. Summit?
Lakeside.
Summit?
Yeah, Summit. Mountain View. Let's call it Lakeside. There's no lake by the school, but we'll call it Lakeside anyway. Make it make sense.
Sounds good.
Give me a break. Craziness. Handsome Hank Martin watching the program. His photo on screen. As long as Allison Spillman drives this agenda, the trajectory is obvious. One day in a few years, you and Judah will be discussing the SCOTUS decision of Noah Coffin versus Albemarle County Public Schools. And as a taxpayer, I hate to see the money go out to fight this fight, but obviously it needs to be, and it needs to get done. So at least let's get this over with and rip the Band-Aid off. Juan Sarmiento watching the program. He and I had a little squabble back and forth. And when it's all said and done, Juan Sarmiento is a good human being.
No doubt.
He said TPUSA should absolutely have Erica Kirk speak, but at a location off school grounds and make it a fundraising event.
Why a fundraising event?
If it's a fundraising event for TPUSA and it's off school grounds, that money should not go to ACPS. If I was TPUSA, this is what I would be doing. And I was Noah Coffin, this is what I would be doing. I would say, we are no longer going to do anything in Albemarle County Public Schools. We're going to take every effort, sweat equity, any strategy that we're going to do, and we're going to do it at a different location. And we're going to pick a location. Maybe you even consider renting a conference room or some kind of event space. And we're going to do a nominal fee at the door if you'd like to hear our speakers speak. $5 to enter. And that $10 to enter to hear Victoria Cobb, Erica Kirk, whoever the hell it is going to go to the TPUSA Western Albemarle High School chapter bank account that is going to have zero influence or zero control or zero ties to Albemarle County Public Schools. Mm-hmm. I would bet you that bank account would be funded so quickly that Western Albemarle TPUSA, that local chapter, could eventually build its own location.
Maybe they'll build their own school.
Like the Elks Lodge, or like the Moose Lodge, or like the Ruritan Club. You can take this totalitarianism that is ACPS and what it's trying to pursue, and it's like this. It's like the rules of war. If they're big and strong, then if they're big and strong, then they're slow. So you're small and nimble and quick. Fucking wild times. All right, it's 1:24. We have other things that we need to get to. Was it Kale Elementary down Avon Extended? Kale?
Yep.
Now Mountain View?
With a C.
With the C?
Not named after the... I don't know what it's named for, what it was named for. But
other pieces of content that we want to highlight on the water cooler of content and conversation. We want to highlight 919 Druid Avenue. It's for sale right now. It's got a $699,000 asking price. 919 Druid Avenue. Katie Mullins, Ben Mullins, Chris Coiner, 919 Druid Avenue for sale in Belmont. Basement apartment, income producing basement apartment at 919 Druid Avenue. This home, I'm going to put it in perspective why I think this is an incredible value. This home is asking $699,000. It's 4 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms, and it's 2,200 square feet in Belmont. Today, ladies and gentlemen, today on Avon Street, there was a home that came on the market for $799,000, $100,000 more than 919 Druid Avenue. And this home is smaller in bed count, 3 beds, versus Druid Avenue's 4 beds. It's 2.5 baths at 1105 Avon Street versus the 3.5 baths at 919 Druid Avenue. And ladies and gentlemen, this home is 700 square feet smaller.
Wow.
And it's 100,000 square foot more. It's $100,000 more. This is called a comp. You look at what Monroe Allen with Frank Hardy is asking, and I'm not throwing shade on this listing. I want all homes to sell for whatever one buyer is willing to pay for it. It's called a free market. But 1105 Avon Street is asking $800,000 for 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and 1,490 square feet on a smaller lot. Where 919 Druid Avenue is 4 beds, 3.5 baths, 700 square feet more, and 3 times the lot for $100,000 less. This is an effing steal right here. And it will have an 8 handle in front of it in 24 to 36 months when this biotechnology money comes into play. What I would be doing if I was this and I didn't have kids, 4 kids and a wife, didn't live in Ivy right now, 2 kids and a wife and lived in Ivy, is my wife and I would be buying this, living on the top, renting out the basement, keeping this for 2 years, and at the 2-year marker, 3-year marker, selling it, and as a married couple, being able to write off $500,000 in capital gains. And then doing it again, rinse and repeat. That's what we'd be doing if we were 10 years younger and childless. Chad Wood is watching the program. What the Albemarle County School Board is doing is not about caring for kids, it's about total control. It's totalitarianism. The definition of totalitarianism, a system of government that exerts absolute and unrestrained control over all aspects of public and private life, aiming to dominate citizens' beliefs and actions, characterized by a single-party rule, a dictator, propaganda, total suppression of the opposition. And it's hypocrisy because of what Spillman stands for as the mom of a trans student, of a trans child. Mm-hmm. Items that we need to get out of the notebook. Scott Beardsley's been affirmed, headline on screen, confirmed by the Board of Visitors as the official president of the University of Virginia. And this is a Spanberger appointed board. Mm-hmm. Beardsley's in, the money talks, Beardsley's the guy. All the professors that try to strike and unionize and collective bargain against Beardsley and this hastily done appointment by the former board led by Youngkin are now eating crow. And at this point, never in the history of the University of Virginia have UVA faculty been marginalized or disenfranchised than they are today. The president that they wanted, Jim Ryan, was kicked out. The president that they hated, the opposite of Jim Ryan, was in. And then he was affirmed and confirmed by a Democrat-led BOV.
Who are now going over the processes of finding a president so that
they're reviewing the processes of what led to Beardsley's hire.
Yeah.
They're not pushing Beardsley out.
Right.
The faculty at the University of Virginia, you have never been more disenfranchised or marginalized than you are today. Period, bar none. Next headline, what do you got, Judah Wickower?
Next, we've got South Street Brewery.
South Street Brewery is closing.
Yeah.
Did you know that this is the area's oldest brewery? Did you know South Street Brewery is the oldest brewery in Charlottesville, the oldest brewery in the region? It's been in continuous operation since 1998. Mm-hmm. Its last day is what, April 6th?
Yeah. It is, I believe it's been run by Blue Mountain Brewery.
Taylor Smack, Blue Mountain Brewery. He got his start in beer making as a brewmaster at South Street a long, long time ago. He purchased South Street Brewery to save it from collapse from the previous owner, Taylor Smack. The
last 12 years, right?
Yeah. It's closing April 6th.
They're looking for someone to buy it.
I'm a business I'm going to be straightforward here. There's no firm in Central Virginia that is doing more volume of business brokerage business than this firm and the person you're watching and listening to right now, how we make our living is not a podcast and this media platform. We launched this media platform as a way to drive awareness in business for our brokerage and deal making and consultancy business. What happened, it became a news desert locally because of the collapse of print, radio, and television, legacy media, and as we talk consistently about local news and topic matter, the podcasting and media company took off, and now it's very profitable. We're vertically integrating it with our consultancy and our brokerage business by utilizing the same labor pool and same resources to drive awareness for the company in totality. That's called vertical integration, economies of scale. There is no firm locally that is brokering more business sale transactions than this one. And I can assure you, as a business broker, when someone posts on social media, hey, we're closing, and then the next sentence says, oh, by the way, we want somebody to buy the business from us, you've lost your leverage of selling the business. And there clearly was an attempt beforehand to sell the business before the closing announcement, because no one with business acumen says, unless it's the last final straw and they're actually closing, that we're closing, oh, please buy the business from us. You try to sell it before making the closing announcement. It's called leverage. And the Danny O'Days of the world, he was kind of going back and forth. Oh, it's not closing. And I'm like, Danny, tell us you don't know much about business without saying you don't know much about business. But then I just didn't want to get in a back and forth with him on, it's always on my personal Facebook. Never have I toggled over to his. This is sad.
Yeah.
And what is not being discussed and why you watch and listen to the show is the South Street Brewery is the connection to Ix Park and expanding foot traffic and pedestrian and customer traffic off the mall toward kind of that portion of downtown. It was a bridge. Bang Tapas is another bridge. Bang.
Yeah. Now that Monoloco is gone.
Right. In business since 1998. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you right now, the word on the street is there's another very established brewery that's closing. Not my news to break. And there's some posting on the owner of the Livery Stables Facebook page that the last day for Livery Stables is April 1.
Aren't we expecting that entire building to be
Entire
razed?
building's going to get knocked down. It's going to be made into a hotel. Built by Jeff Levine, the developer from Manhattan, who developed the apartment complex next to University Tire on West Main Street, the home of formerly Blue Moon Diner, now soon to be Maggie's in Midtown, a pub. Jeff Levine, building a hotel in the shadows of the Omni. The vacancies are becoming more prolific. The next headline is Barboursville.
Yep.
Barboursville Vineyards has sold to an investor group.
This is a very different story, though. I believe most of the management is sticking around. The former winemaker there is going to stick around as the manager, as the head of whatever, and one of the other winemakers is going to continue on as a winemaker, and there's someone else. I can't remember, but at least 3 members of management are sticking with the group. Winemaker Danielle Tesaro and vineyard manager Fernando Franco both will continue their current roles, and Luca Pascina, the general manager and head winemaker at Barboursville, is sticking around to run the place. So I think that's good news. The investor group hasn't been named, as far as I know, but they are not invested in any other winemaking industry interests, and they want to see this do well. So hopefully Barboursville will stick around, especially considering the fact that I think their 2017, one of their 2017 wines, Octagon, I believe, is recently become one of the top 50 American wines based on
I mean, how about the fact that
European
Barboursville
magazine
Vineyards has
group.
been around since 1976?
that too.
How about the fact that Barboursville Vineyards was the anchor or the driver, the momentum behind the Virginia wine industry?
Yeah.
How about the fact that if you want a pioneer for Virginia wine, you point out Barboursville Vineyards first?
Yeah.
The headwinds are extremely obvious when it comes to alcohol. Beer, wine, cider, liquor, you name it. This Gen Alpha, Gen Z generation is not drinking. They're pursuing Cali sober lifestyles. They are not drinking. And who has driven around town, Albemarle County, Charlottesville, wherever you're watching this program? There's 9 states watching the show right now, Judah. Who is driving around and has noticed in the last week? Locally, I saw gas this time last Friday at $2.79.
Oh.
Gas today, $3.49. We are talking.
I was getting it for under $3.
It's a 70-cent increase in gas.
Yesterday I stopped at my normal spot and it was, I think it was $3.49, and I was like, well, I've just drove by 2 gas stations where it's $3.19, so I turned around and I went somewhere else.
Gas.
I don't know how long that's going to last though.
Gas.
So get your $3.20 gas while it's there.
Gas jumping 75 cents in a week. 0.75, 15 gallons in the family Ford Explorer. 0.75 times 15, that's $11.25 more to fill up in a week. Mm-hmm. What happens when gas starts knocking on heaven's door, and by this, it's hell's door, of $4 a gallon? Trump has said this war in Iran will last 5 weeks at the bare minimum. Trump this morning on all the national networks, the only way I will stop war in Iran is if Iran unconditionally surrenders. Are we in a world where it's going to be $4 plus gas? What does $4 plus gas do to the real estate market?
What does it do to
what does it do to food and beverage?
Everything. It's going to affect everything because gas is how we get things from point A to point B, and every product you buy has to get from point A to point B.
The first tax on Americans is gasoline. Gasoline. Groceries, gasoline. Restaurants, gasoline. Kids to school, gasoline. Kids to the doctors, gasoline.
Point A to point B.
To work, gasoline. Everything gasoline. We're knocking on hell's door of $4 a gallon gas.
I hope not.
70 cents, 75 cents in a week. Last headline is that Virginia Tech ball game. Tomorrow, Hokies and Who's, 12 o'clock on the CW network. UVA is crushing it. 26-4 overall, 14-3 in ACC play. Who's are a 9.5-point favorite. One of Virginia's 4 losses this year came at the hands of Virginia Tech and Blacksburg. I would love to see the Who's come out tomorrow at high noon and beat the brakes off of the Hokies, who are fighting for their NCAA tournament lives. UVA secured, locked and loaded, the 2 seed in the ACC tournament. That's good news. They don't have to face Duke until the ACC tournament championship if they make it that far. Duke's clearly the best team. Virginia has an opportunity to be a 4 seed in the big dance. Win the tournament, maybe you're knocking on the door of a 3 seed. Stanley Martin Homes, a partner of this program. Love the team at Stanley Martin Homes. Stanley Martin Homes builds innovative homes, condos, townhomes, single-family detached homes. They are dedicated at Stanley Martin Homes to building homes that cater to each person's unique needs and lifestyles. High-quality single-family homes, townhomes, and condos designed and constructed with innovative techniques that ensure exceptional efficiency and aesthetic appeal. Homes built with trust and communication. Homes built with trust and communication at Stanley Martin Homes. Anything you want to add?
No.
We'll close the show this way. Wanda Shank says, and you know what, Wanda, you might be right. That $4 a gallon gas is the Democrats' is a Democratic push for midterms and the next election. That's the first thing the Dems are going to use as their flag waving to get us elected at midterms. $4 a gallon gas. Remember Trump in his State of the Union a couple of weeks ago? In his State of the Union, one of the key aspects of his State of the Union, Donald Trump, was cheap gas. Look at what I've done with gas. Look at what I've done with gas. He highlighted $6 a gallon gas in California. Then he said, I've seen gas as low as $1.30. Since Trump made that proclamation at the State of the Union, gas is 2x'd.
Has it?
Yeah.
Not here.
He said $1.35, $1.25. I guess it's depending on where you shop, to your point.
Yeah.
I will say, since the State of the Union, it's gone from $2.40 or 50 cents to $3.50.
Gas that I've been buying has stuck pretty much level, up and down a tiny bit around 3 for the last, 2 or 3 years.
Gas last Friday at
I
Tiger
know.
Fuel
Now
on Ivy
it's going
Road,
up.
$2.79. Now $3.49. That is 70 cents.
I haven't seen that delta in my own experiences, but
Well,
other people's experiences
you will this
may
weekend.
vary. I hope not.
You will this weekend.
Let's hope not.
I don't want to knock on hell's door.
Nor do I.
That's the talk show. Water cooler of content and conversation. Water cooler of content and conversation. We're honest, we're frank, we cut through the BS, and we do it in long-form content so you can't take it out of context. And if you do, okay, that's on you. He's Judah Wickower. The man's distinguished, he's well-spoken, and ladies, he's single and ready to mingle. My name is Jerry Miller. I got a wife and 2 kids, and a 3-year-old who's learning to potty train. Yesterday, he peed on the Play-Doh, and Max, the family German Shepherd.
There are worse places to go.
Then Max, the family German Shepherd?
I was talking about the Play-Doh, not Max.
Max, the family German Shepherd, did
Max
not
doesn't
appreciate
care.
getting peed on by the 3-year-old. He just took
You know
it.
dogs. Yeah, of course he just took it.
He just put his head down, tail between his legs, and lowered his ears.
Oh, man, you're making me sad now.
That's literally what he did. And he just took it. He was a great family dog. Mm-hmm. Loves the 3-year-old dearly. Follows him around everywhere. His protector. The 3-year-old got out of the house.
He knows,
Max, the German Shepherd, was right
They're
there.
going to get dropped on the ground.
Yeah, he
behind
gets
a
the
3-year-old.
scraps from the 3-year-old, 100%. That's the talk show. Judah Wickower, Jerry Miller. I love CVille.